Hello, 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 everyone. Hello to everyone that will come in, and those that come in a little bit after. Uh, I'm so happy to to be on today. I haven't been on in a couple of days because I've been spending some valuable time with my family, and just really enjoying being off and not really having to come in. What's up, John John? What's up, Young Riez? What's up, Dre? CC, my girl. Gary, what's popping? I hope everybody's doing well. Um, I am really just trying to spend time with my family and stay off of YouTube so much. Yeah, I just wanted to really just focus on my family and not really deal with social media for a couple of days. I'll get on and maybe type in the chat and everything, but sometimes when you're having your own channel, you kind of need to take a break sometimes, because sometimes being on here can be a little overwhelming. And I realized that the most important things in my life is not on YouTube. It's outside of YouTube. So that's kind of where my focus been. So it's coming 2024. So hopefully we will turn over, or at least have a different mindset, turn over a new leaf, maybe change our hair. I'm trying blonde. So they say blondes have more fun. I'll cam up just a little bit. Blondes have more fun. So I'm trying some blonde, see if I have more fun this this season. So yeah, you know me. I go from red to my hair to black to different cut, a different style. But this time I'm trying a blonde kind of look, this season. So yeah, I'm trying to blonde. Think they say blondes have more fun. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So happy New Year to all of you guys. Again, you know me. I'm not gonna have you on here too long. I'm gonna go back in my shell. So blonde it up. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. I'm gonna show y'all some videos. This live is something that most people need to learn. Thank you, John John. Thank you, Dre. Um, thank you, Young Riz. Be swift to hear and slow to speak. Basically, just shut the hell up sometimes. We always, I know as women, we always have to rebuttal a lot of times, and men are just like that too. I found some men that can't shut the hell up, and that's annoying. So we all need to learn sometimes when to speak and when not to speak. What's up, King Stoner? I was just showing my blonde. I don't know if you saw it. King Stoner, it's good to see you. Good to see you. Someone bless you with a membership. So, and thank you guys for those who have joined memberships. If you haven't, I would truly appreciate it. This coming year, I'm going to be doing some new things. I'm also going to be sharing the interview that Mr. Matthew Silly as AF. He did an interview with me, and it was really nice, even though some people try to distort it. It was a very good interview, and I enjoyed it, and I'm going to share it with you guys too. And then I'm going to probably put it on memberships only, because for some people that don't know some things about me, I was kind of transparent, not all the way, but some I was transparent a little bit, just a little bit. You can't tell too much on here. People, you got evil folks on here will use it against you. So be swift to hear and slow to speak. I'm going to share two videos with you, maybe three, just depends on how it goes. We have some women on Anton Daniels show, and they're talking. At first, they were talking about Candace Owens, how they don't like some of her ideals or the way that she sees politics and the way that she sees the African American community. They kind of feel that she's not relatable to African Americans and their struggles. So they were talking about that. And so they had a group of women giving their opinion on it. But I would just want you to see the interaction between the women and Anton Daniels. And I want you to tell me your honest opinion. This is an open panel. So I will, matter of fact, let me go ahead and put the links. You're more than welcome. As long as I like to stick on the subject. So I don't want to veer away from the subject. So that's for the people that want to discuss what I'm going to be talking about. I need to pin this as well because I want to know how do you guys feel about that, men and women? Do you think in this day and time that people talk too much? You know what I'm saying? And then when they do talk, do they actually have something to say? Yeah. Do they actually have something? Hey, Tamika, Happy New Year, sweetie. I want to know y'all opinion on it because I think a lot of folks they just be talking and they don't even know what they saying, and then when they do talk, it's very reckless, and it's always best. My grandmother would always say, if you have nothing nice to say or nothing worth saying, it's best to be quiet. But unfortunately, we have people that do not take that advice. Hey, Juicy, what's good? Happy New Year, sweetie. Happy New Year to everybody that come through. I put hey, Big Booty Judy, what's popping? Good to see you. I'm having an open panel. Like I said again, I'm sharing a video from Anton Daniels. They were talking about Candace Owens, how they don't agree with her ideas about the Black community or just her politics in general. And I'm going to be sharing those videos with you. And I want you to see the interaction between the women and Anton. And I want you to give me y'all opinion on it. Yeah, I call AAMU Big Booty Judy, and I miss cakes. So I'm gonna share this with you. Then I'm also share. I know some of y'all might not like Tommy Sotomayor. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. But he is going to be on one of the panels, and him and another lady is going to be going back and forth. So I want you to see the interaction on that as well.
But you could be a very intelligent person.
Again, this is Black women get mad when Anton defends Candace Owens. They say says they destroy their families and need to hush. That's the name of the video. And this is Fair Use. Fair Use is by Anton Daniels. I really like his podcast. He has a lot of great people that come on there and very interesting people.
And have these idiotic views. And that's just, how
I think Candace Owens just says that Black people, we need to stop being victims. And people don't want to do that. You don't want to
but she talks about, I can say this one thing, she talks about a victim mentality, but a victim mentality is a toxic thing that you rely on too much, but you really can't play the victim when you are the victim. And that's so there's a difference. What? There's a difference. When things are geared toward the downfall of a race, like the things are in this country, you are the victim. You can overcome that 100% and fight against it, but it exists. Just to say that it doesn't exist or to have consequences that it doesn't exist is not truthful.
Stop. Dios mío.
We weren't even given grace. We weren't even given anything
in
exchange for what was done to us in this country. Were we ever not?
Hold on 1 second.
Okay, so do you see the interaction? Now, most of the people that come on his panel are very intelligent, right? Very opinionated. That's the point of having an open panel. You want to have different people's perspectives. The problem that I see sometimes when you have panels, people don't have common courtesy. Especially a person, say for instance, if you were to come on my panel and I am letting you guys know, hey, this is open panel, so I don't mind you speaking your beliefs or your perspective. Just be respectful of other people. Also, don't interrupt people when they're talking. That is one of my pet peeves, when people do not understand, I would say, panel etiquette. And really, it just comes with common, courtesy in general. If a person is talking, let them speak. And I have even had to, even in my relationships or in the past relationships I've had, like family, friends, or if you're dating someone, you have to sometimes not get defensive and allow people to speak. And that's what I see a problem. Sometimes as women, and men do it too. So let's just be clear. I just think it's a universal thing that people don't understand. But I just wanted you to see the interaction with that. And I'm gonna keep playing it.
One second.
Oh my God.
Here we go. Victim and victim mentality are two different things.
Yes.
Well, I'm speaking on our victim mentality. Like, that's what I'm saying.
I'm curious. So how is the system preventing you from being successful, Jazz?
Because 400 years we did.
I'm sorry.
400 years.
I'll get to you in a minute, baby.
She can answer for me. She can answer.
Okay, go ahead, Chanel.
What do you mean? How is
the system preventing you specifically from being successful? How have you been discriminated against?
Me?
Yes, you, ma'am.
As you can tell, I'm racially ambiguous, and I'm mixed, and I understand my privilege.
So you're saying,
when I talk about my lineage.
Hold on, no. Hold on, ma'am.
That does affect
ma'am. Okay, so let me revise the question, since you understand your privilege, right? Because you standing on the shoulders of giants, of people that actually made sacrifices before you. But you have, but I'm curious, what have you done to actually advance the race, advance the culture? What have you done specifically?
I'm a child of an immigrant. I was the first to get my degree of my generation. So I'm just.
What do you mean you're the child of an immigrant?
Girl, it don't matter what you say. It ain't.
No. I didn't say no. Stop. You said no. You said that you was gonna let her answer for you. So now you have to hold yourself accountable and remove yourself and let me have a conversation with her. So what do you mean by you a child of an immigrant?
My mom is from Central America.
And where your dad from?
He's from Texas.
Regular ass Texas.
So your dad is a passport, bro. Okay, I got it. All right.
Yeah. So, work out though. That didn't really work out. That's what I'm saying.
Hold on.
It did not work out the way he thought.
Give me a second. Let me work this. Let me work this.
They crazy.
So your dad is a passport, bro. All right, cool. Now, you born and you from Texas, I'm assuming, right? Okay, cool. So again, help me to understand what you've done to actually improve race relations and advance the culture.
Race relations and advance the culture for me.
For your people.
For my people. Well, one, I'm statistic. Like, I'm a part of the demographic of Black educated women. So I appreciate that. I'm helping for that. And I'm helping push forward my lineage, because my mom is from a third world country. My dad came from poverty as well. And so because we have education and I'm able to kind of push that forward, and they're growing their wealth and I'm working on mine, they'll be able to pass down to me, and then I can pass down to my children. And so
basically nothing. So nothing. Okay.
So you don't belong to any
Well,
group.
this is why I say be slow to speak, swift to hear, but slow to speak. I'm pretty sure the young lady, because she already had an answer even before the question was asked, I don't believe she actually listened to his question thoroughly. And we all have something like a pet peeve or something that is irritating to another person. Like responding before, and I used to have this real bad. I responded. I already had a response for you even before you asked me the question. And you ask, well, how can that be? Because you're already on a defense. You're trying to prove to someone else that you actually know something when that's not what they're going to ask you. You actually have to listen to the question. And once you listen to the question, make sure you think about it before you just start running off at the mouth. So you see how she answered the question and how he responded. It didn't have anything to do with what he was asking. He was asking, what does she contribute? You know, and she's telling, well, my mama was this and my daddy was this, and I'm going to school and so I can have a lineage. And okay, but did that have anything to do with the question? Yes, going to school and being educated, and getting a career so that you can teach your children about work ethics. You can teach them different things about being determined, and all that kind of stuff. Yes, that helps. But that has really nothing to do with what they're talking about. These young this is about Black women get mad when Anton defends Candace Owens. There's some things about Candace Owens that he feels that is something that she does something for her community, for the Black community. One thing that I can say, regardless of what people don't like about her, and they think that, oh, she's a right wing, she's a Republican, she's just all about Republicans and all about being a coon or whatever they want to call her. But one thing I can say about Candace Owens, she's intelligent and she tries to hold other people accountable. And most people in this day and time, they do not like being held accountable. Whether they like Trump, whether you like Trump or not, she does have a lot of valid points. Even though some people don't like certain people, you can always find something that you can actually learn from a person. I know Cece said she didn't like her, but yeah, it's always something you can learn from somebody. Young Riaz says, Selena, I do admit that sometimes I overexcited. If I have a great chemistry with someone, then I will express more. However, I admit I'm working on it slowly. And I appreciate that, Young Riaz. And I appreciate that you are trying to work on that. Like I said, we all have something we need to work on. But at least you can admit that and you can try to work on it. I'm not sure that this young lady, a lot of people they don't understand what active listening is. And that's actually being in the moment, hearing what a person is actually saying and not having a response before they even ask the question. You're listening to a person thoroughly to see exactly what they are saying to you. And it's like
you haven't actually did anything. Now, and first you already answered the question, and you said you've never been discriminated against, and then you said that you've never actually done anything to advance the culture. Got it. All right, cool. So now, Jazz, I'm curious as to you.
I'm doing for my lineage, but
because you gotta educate.
He was asking about how does she advance the culture. And then she went on, she's saying that, well, you're asking about what her lineage, what she wants to do for her lineage. So I guess that was her way of answering the question, like she was helping her lineage by, I guess, improving her life or something. But like I said, we have to be slow to speak and very quick to hear what a person is saying. Quick to hear and slow to speak.
Education? That's for you. You ain't doing nothing for nobody else. What have you done for anybody other than yourself? What have you done for anybody other than yourself?
What I'm trying to say is that our lineage, on my dad's side, my great grandmother was a slave. So what I'm trying
to where?
In South Mississippi.
Okay, so what they got to do with you?
Right.
What I'm trying to say is the way this economy was built. Like you said, capitalism is the backbone.
You got a fucking degree. How was you discriminated against?
Help to build the economy, but our ancestors were never.
What did you go through, or what have you done? What have you gone through and what have you done?
So therefore, now we're rebuilding it, and it's only like
rebuilding what
generations away that they can pass stuff on. We not even 3, not even 4. We have
so
nothing.
basically, you're not doing nothing. You've never been. You said you got privilege. You've never been discriminated against, and you ain't doing nothing.
I never said that I never discriminated against. I said
how was you discriminated against?
I enjoy, but that doesn't mean that I haven't lived.
How was you discriminated against? What happened?
Huh?
How was you discriminated against?
First of all, I grew up in a predominantly Hispanic area, but I was the darkest, the only Black person within like an entire region.
How were you discriminated against?
Because I was just from slurs, just from talking to, just the way that.
Who called you a slur? Who called you a slur? Who called you a slur? Who called you a slur?
All kinds of people.
Like white people? White people called you a slur? The white people call you a slur?
No, actually, no.
So what the fuck are y'all talking about?
So
what are you talking about?
What you totally flipped it to something else.
No, I'm asking how you were discriminated against.
She's asked, so if he's asking how she's been discriminated against, she should have given the examples of how she was actually discriminated because of her complexion or her ethnicity or whatever. Like, that's when you should give your experiences on being discriminated. But she went all the way around the mountain and she still didn't get there. So I'm just asking, is this active listening? Is this actually someone that's paying attention to what a person is saying? Or they already just had a response in their head to prove somebody wrong? So you have to really, a part of communicating effectively, you actually have to listen to a person, what they're saying, what they're not saying. You have to look at body language, and if you're not in front of a person, or if you're over a phone and you're not doing FaceTime or anything, then you have to pick up on social cues like people's tone, things of that nature, tone and things, what they say and how they say it. It's just a lot of things that come in with affecting with someone effectively. And I don't feel that men and women, we don't do it well. If we did, it wouldn't be so many broken relationships. It wouldn't be so many broken relationships, romantically or platonically. We just don't want to listen. We want to be right instead of actually being happy. And that's what I see a lot of people doing. They want to prove that they're right about something instead of being happy. You don't always have to be right. And then, like I said, when you do have conversations with people, you have disagreements with people, there's ways that you can talk to a person where you both are being heard. And when you both are being heard, you can actually respond in the right way instead of just going off at the mouth. And then you done messed up a relationship because you just don't have self-control. You don't know how to just listen, right? Because a lot of times a part of, conflict resolution, you have to have some type of self-control. You can't just be popping off at the mouth with people. And let that be a goal. I know it's a goal for me in this coming 2024, because I can do that too. And I have done that. I'm guilty. But I'm making attempts to, move forward. So let that be something that you think about this coming year when you're dealing with people and having relationships with people, whether it's family or, platonic or romantically. Learn to be quick to hear and slow to speak. That's a proverb. And like I said, most people, it just goes over their head. They just want to prove to everybody that they're right. She didn't listen to the question. That's point blank. Like Gary said, that has nothing, lineage don't have anything to do with culture. And that's what he was asking her. how does she basically affect culture, or what, you know, that he had nothing to do with her lineage. You know, it's good that you raise your kids to be productive citizens of society, but we're talking about culture and how you improve, how you impact culture. That's what he was basically asking her.
She was, okay, but Anton, you're intelligent enough.
No,
you're intelligent enough.
No. How were you discriminated against?
She can't tell you.
Okay, cool. So we got your answer. Jazz, how was you discriminated against?
I've experienced.
No, Chanel, you had your chance. Give me a second. Jazz, how was you discriminated against?
I've been discriminated against before because I am of the darker skin side of the Black girl spectrum, which is expected. We cannot sit here and be obtuse. And I know you, Mr. Anton, you are not, you're way more intelligent than you're leading.
How were you specifically discriminated against?
No,
my dark sister.
I have been discriminated against before, but even if I wasn't,
how?
Just listen. Even if I was not a Black woman that's ever experienced discrimination, I would not go about this world believing that just because I didn't experience it personally, that it's not happening to people in my community around me, and that it is a problem. It has been a problem, and nobody is doing anything to fix that problem.
Cool. We're gonna get to them people. I'll ask them separately. I'll tell you what, you bring them on the panel and I'll ask them individually. How were you discriminated?
What does that matter?
What do you mean?
Do you want me to go? Do you want me to tell you?
Is set up against you, and I'm trying to understand how. And so I'm trying to get the examples. How were you discriminated against?
I'm not of the individualistic mindset. I know
you said that you were.
I know when
he's asking a question, answer the question. Why is it that some people go around the mountain about 40 years instead of just answering the darn question? Just answer the question. But we, as sometimes people, we have to deflect, we have to project. We can't just, we have to be defensive. We can't just answer the question. Men and women do it both. So let's just be clear on that. It's not just a woman thing. It's not just a Black woman thing. It is actually men and women of every culture do it. But the description of this is Black women get mad when Anton defends Candace Owens. So that's what we're talking about right now. But he's asking these people a lot of questions, and we have, let's see, I know the three on the bottom, on the far left, they have a lot to say. If you look at this whole live, they're doing a lot of the talking.
There are corporations
trying to. Can you give me 1 second, baby?
I can't think of the name of
the. Hold on, Jazz. I want to get some order on the panel. Chanel, listen, I got you, baby. Listen, you look like you the type to be on the panel and to be in the studio, and we're gonna have some great conversations. I'm gonna hit you up later. I'm gonna work on you. Give me a second, baby. I like your teeth too. Jazz, in the middle, and separately, how were you discriminated against, baby?
I mean, you want me to go down the experience I've had over time?
If somebody discriminated against me, I would remember that shit. Like, I remember my first whooping as a little kid. Like,
okay, I'll give you a quick.
I'm trying to understand how you got.
The question is, how have you been discriminated? So let's see her answer. See if she's answered it correctly.
Discrimination.
Since we want to speak individually, like about the individual experience, when really what's most important is the collective experience.
No, it's the individual experience.
No, it's really not. But because there are too many of us with that individualistic mentality, we would lean more towards into the Candace Owens rhetoric, because it's not about the progress of the collective. It's about, well, it's about me. Fuck what happens to you, even though you look like me, even though you're in my community. It ain't happening to me. And because it has happened to me, then
She's saying that's how Candace Owens, how she sees the community. If it didn't happen to me, she's not worried about it. She in her opinion, she kind of feels like basically, you know, pull your own self by your own bootstraps, just like I had to do, you know. And that's kind of how a lot of, you know, people see Candace Owens, especially in the African American community. She's not really liked for some reason. So, but that's still not what that's not what he asked her. He asked her, how was she discriminated? And you see where she went? She went back to Candace Owens and how she think Candace Owens' ideas and opinions are about the Black community.
I can look down on you because what you doing that I'm not doing. That's very unintelligent.
You answer the question, ma'am.
When you're
how are you discriminating?
Mindset to have. You know that you are of a collective that experience. What happened?
See, I would have been irritated at this point. I'm like, so he handled this really well. Like I said, I think, you know, these young ladies, she seemed like a very intelligent young lady, but I really feel like, let's just answer the question. So this would be the part where I would get irritated and be like, ma'am, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to ask you again. How were you discriminated? See, this is when my attitude kind of shows up a little bit, because I'm getting irritated. I've asked you a question. Just answer the darn question.
Oh, if it's funny.
How are you discriminated against?
I'll give you an example, and it's on a very small scale, but because discrimination exists, is what happened. Right. A few years ago, I took my mother and a couple of like her sisters and my aunties, you know, took her family out for her birthday. Right. I went to a live music speakeasy here in Chicago. When we walked up, mind you, it was very early, wasn't a line outside. I've been to this place before, etc. Right. I walk up. And the first thing they do, and they look at myself and the people that I'm with, and they look at us and they say, "Oh, we're done for the night." Full white staff at the door, or maybe like a super Latino person or whatever the case may be. But as soon as they looked at us, they said,
"Was it a Latino person or was it a white person?"
It was like two whites and one Latino, or one, you know, racially ambiguous person, whatever. They weren't Black, all right. Gotcha. And even if they were, it probably would have went down the same kind of way, because of certain mindsets. But anyway, we went to the door and they're like, instantly, you can't get in, we're done for the night. And so I'm just like, okay, well, it's only 8:30, you know, the live music it doesn't begin until 9:30. Why can't we come in? Oh, we're at capacity. And I'm like, capacity? You can just tell it's bullshit, right?
This is in downtown Chicago?
This is downtown Chicago. And the irony, I'll give you the irony of it on the end of it. But we're outside, so I'm going back and forth. I'm like, this isn't right. There's a reason for this. And then as we're standing there trying to figure out the next move, we're upset. We're seeing them let other people in right in front of us.
Man, there was white
Black people, non-Black people walking right in front of us.
Was it not Black?
Well, what's going on? And so I'm like, okay, well, what's going on? I thought it was the capacity. I thought you can't let anybody else in. Oh, all of a sudden they got tables, or does it? Bullshit. So
y'all sat there, so they rejected y'all. Hold on, let me get the story correct. So they rejected.
Wait a minute, let me finish.
Hold on, let me just get for because I'm a C student, so I'm slow. So they rejected y'all, and what part of it was it? Cold outside? Was it warm outside?
No, it was warm. It was like my mom's birthday is in September. It was warm. It
was like summer.
I had on shorts. She had on like a little dress. Like it was warm outside, and.
Cool. So y'all sat there and y'all waited for other people to come up, and so y'all went.
No. The thing about it, we were commuting, so we couldn't just hop in our car. We got there through Uber. We were downtown, so we were outside of the spot, kind of waiting. But it just so happens I know one of the guys that work inside.
Girl up at the top of her looked like she done went to sleep. I'm like, my goodness, everybody seems zoned out, even though homegirl on the far left. Okay. It's kind of like get to the point.
He was like the manager. He was one of the managers at the spot at the time, and he just so happened to come out. At the moment, I wasn't thinking about it. He just so happened to come out, and when he came out, I said, "Yo, so and so." Can't even remember his name right now. You know, we just came here with my mom. I'm here with my mom.
Remember his first name?
I'm here with my mom. It was like, I really can't remember. He had like a very unique name. It's like I can't remember right now. It don't matter. I'll know him if I see him. So I was like, yo, you know, I'm trying to bring my people in, and they're telling us that you're at capacity. You just came from down there. I said, is it at capacity already before 9:30? And he looks at me, he said, Jasmine, there's nobody down there. And I was like, oh, well, your staff out here just blatantly told me and my mother and my family that we couldn't get in because it's to capacity and they can't do it tonight. So he went and addressed it and said, excuse me, no, we're not at capacity. Please let these people in. Now, at that point, we just said, no, we're not going to come in. But that's a very small level scale.
So you're saying that, wait. So let's be clear. Let's be very, very clear. So you saying that they didn't let you in because you was a black woman?
We were black women. Some of us were probably not. We probably didn't fit a certain physical aesthetic. We're all beautiful. We're all very well dressed, but perhaps some of us are a little bit more voluptuous than others. Perhaps there is a certain aesthetic that this particular place was allowing, but it was the simple fact that they lied.
Did they not let you in because you were black? Is what I'm asking.
Oh, 1,000%. Because why would you let these other?
How do you know this for a fact?
Because they let a bunch of white folks in front of us.
Like, you know for a fact that they didn't let you in because you were a black woman.
Yeah, 1,000%. Absolutely. Not only because, but here's the thing: we were black. Some of us were older. We were black and older. We had the cards stacked against us.
Age discrimination, yeah.
It was blatant discrimination. If it was myself,
if I go to the
if it was myself and some of my,
let me ask you a question. If I go to the club,
I'm not lying about shit. I'm not lying about. I don't have to lie to you, strangers.
If I go to the if I go to the club and they say, hey, listen, you got to get in the line, and then there's some bad chicks that walk up and they say, hey, but we're gonna let y'all in. Am I being
but it wasn't bad chicks. They were letting grown-ass white men.
Hold on for a second. Am I being discriminated against?
Possibly. Possibly, but the problem, yeah, possibly, because they may not have said it had a white guy coming up to the door. They may not.
Listen, man.
You can try to poke holes in these different stories to try
I'm just going by your
to try to extrapolate why.
Listen, ma'am.
But you know for a fact that this is a problem in this country and continues to be.
Ma'am, you have never had an opportunity denied to you as a result of being
a problem that has to be addressed. We know that there are plenty of opportunities.
The reason why you didn't get in the club is because you was talking too much, like you talking right now.
That's your go-to every time.
No, it's not.
A black woman, it's because she's talking too much. When really, I'm just sharing the story that you asked me to tell, and I'm telling you exactly what it was. I didn't have to do too much
on my own panel.
So the young lady won't let him talk on his own panel. That would be a problem for me. Like, to me, that's just really disrespectful. You know, whether you agree with somebody or not, there's a way to do it, a right and wrong way to do everything. And if you are invited on someone's panel, you do not run the panel, okay? And a lot of people have no courtesy. They don't have any housekeeping rules. And when I say housekeeping rules, my housekeeping rule, I have always say, you know, let's respect people on the panel. You know, respect each other. You don't have to agree, but you don't have to be disrespectful. You don't have to be rude. Those are some of my housekeeping rules that some people come on your own panel and try to run it. And that's when I feel like you have crossed the line. You can't run people's panels. That's, like I said, even when talking and communicating with people, you can't just you can tell how you feel, but you also have to be very conscious and allow other people to tell how they feel. You can't just be like, it's all about me, myself, and I. If that was the case, have the conversation with yourself. But if you go around talking to yourself, then somebody gonna think something is wrong with you, which would be a pretty good estimate. It'd be a very good assessment, I would say, that something is very wrong with you. And I really feel like sometimes people are just, like I said, they just rude as hell. And she did have some valid points, but at the same time, I don't know if that's so much discrimination. I don't know, because again, I wasn't there. We can only go by her story. But when I think of discrimination, I think of something like a person won't give me a job because I am Black or because I am a woman. That's what I would think of being discriminated, against. But, like I say, I'm gonna play this just a little bit longer, and then I'm gonna move on. I did pin my link in the chat, so you can come up. Like I said, we just want to stick to what we're talking to. If you would like to come up, you're more than welcome to come up.
I'm just saying, you can't sit here and try to deny. You cannot sit here and try to deny.
I'm denying it. You literally have never had an opportunity denied to you as a result of being a Black woman.
You can't say that. You can't. I just said it. And you can't say that I did.
You have never ever had you.
But we know. But that doesn't mean that.
Chanel.
But Anton, that doesn't mean
had an opportunity denied to you.
But that doesn't mean that there are other people who have opportunities denied.
We're not talking about other people. He's asking you. See, that's what I'm saying. People get away from the question and they start going in talking about other things and other people. We're not talking about other people. His question was directed to you. How were you discriminated? We know that other people have been discriminated. It's been on the news. We read in newspaper clippings or magazine clippings, of people that have been discriminated. Maybe we know somebody personally, but we're not talking about them. He's asking about you. And this is why I say it's very essential for people to listen more than talk, because you miss a lot of valid things. You miss a lot of important things when you're doing all the talking and you're not listening. And this is why a lot of men that are, I'm talking about I was going to say normal men, because it's a lot of overly emotional Negroes. But I'm talking about a man that is balanced in his emotions, and he's more logical. When a woman is talking to a man and they're logical and they're really not as emotional as a woman, they don't want to hear a whole bunch of, I feel. You can tell a person how you feel, but don't keep going overboard, and don't be talking about, well, my auntie feel, my sister feel. You going into all these different scenarios and different stories that don't have nothing to do with what the situation is at hand. And I don't know if y'all understand what I'm saying, but sometimes when you're dealing with a man in a relationship, you gotta listen to what he's saying. If a man come to you and tell you, I really don't like it when you talk to me like that, because one thing about it, a man more than likely wants respect more than anything from their Thank you, Swifty Swift. I appreciate you. Hey Gartrell, what's popping? A man wants more respect more than anything. And thank you, CC. I appreciate you. And Happy New Year's to you, sweetie. They want more respect than anything. So when you are coming to a man that is logical, not some over emotional Negro, somebody that, or somebody that's just bipolar, that just not taking their meds, you, and I'm not making fun of anyone that has that condition. So please don't get offended. I'm not trying to make fun of anyone. But I am saying that some people are just too emotional. They won't listen to nothing. It's all about how they feel about, hey Bolo, what's popping? Good to see you. It's all about how they feel and what they, but if a man come and telling you, I don't like it when you talk to me like that, you know, and then you say, well, I feel like y'all men talk to us women like we crazy all the time, and I'm not gonna put up. Okay, what does that have to do with this right here? Stick to what he's telling you. Then once you hear what he is saying, then you can respond and don't talk about other people. Talk about, okay, well, I'm sorry, or well, I feel that you were talking to me disrespectful, so that's why I responded. That would be, to me, more of a conversation where you two can have and y'all can talk about certain things. Rather than you talk about, well, y'all Negroes, y'all talk about us like, talk about who? We talking about me and you. So I'm just giving an example, and I hope I'm not going over people's head when I say this. It's real simple how we get things out of hand when we don't listen to each other, or we are so defensive instead of just hearing what a person is saying. Then after we hear what they're saying, then maybe we can try to understand it. It was a situation that happened to me where somebody was offended by something that I said to them. And my intentions was not to be offend them, but I automatically, when I heard that they were irritated or didn't like what I did, I automatically got defensive, right? So the person noticed that I got defensive. They like, look, I can't see. This is why I didn't want to tell you, because I felt like you were going to be defensive. I had to kind of pull back because I understood that, okay, this person's coming to me to tell me that I offended them in some type of way. So instead of me getting defensive, let me hear why this person was offended. Okay. Once the person explained to me why they were offended and why they didn't like a certain thing, it's not that they didn't think that I was being malicious. It's just that maybe I wasn't thinking. So they felt like, let me let this person know, hey, I did not like this, because, you know, we have some type of rapport with each other. So that person said, well, I wanted to come to you to let you know, hey, it's not that I felt that you're a bad person. It's just that I didn't like this, and it could affect you in your other relationships if you don't catch a hold of it. And when that person explained it to me, I was able to understand and reason with her and reason and understand where she was coming from. And then I calmed down. And once I calmed down, I was actually able to comprehend, and I was actually able to see, how can I not do this again, right? And I think that's what's most important in communication. People just don't want to be wrong. So they talk, they deflect, they project, because they just don't want to be wrong. They just want to prove their point. But sometimes you could be missing out on the whole point when you're talking so much. I just want to show y'all this clip because I want to show the interaction between some of the young ladies and him. And what do y'all think about it? Do you think that, these young ladies were rude? Do you think that they weren't listening? Do you think that he wasn't listening? Like, I wanted to kind of have your feedback on that. And do you overtalk? Do you you look to respond rather than to listen? I don't know if that's the right saying, but some people want to respond without actually hearing what a person is actually saying to them. And that's where a lot of people have miscommunications and they have misunderstandings and they fall out with each other. Basically, their relationship is terminated because neither one of them want to even, come to a resolution or reason with each other. It's all about proving that I'm right and you're wrong sometimes, I just want to know y'all opinion on it. Yes, tone does matter as well. And I think when I could hear the frustration, that's when I got defensive, right? So, but even at that time, I shouldn't have still got defensive. I need to hear a person out. I really need to hear a person out. But we are human, and sometimes we respond impulsively. Is with okay. React is an impulsive response. Is with thoughts. Okay, I can understand that. And we do react very impulsively sometimes because our thoughts, as this person is telling us this, whatever it is that we don't like, or we maybe seem like it wasn't like that. You're trying to, tell a person that it wasn't like that. That's what I wasn't trying to do. You already have it in your thoughts like, why you coming against me? I didn't mean nothing by it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't mean to be rude. So, but like I said, you really have to listen to people. Selena, I will admit I struggle with social cues, but slowly process. But I think I'm slowly improving. I believe you are. I'm going to share another video with you now. I know some of you, some people do not like. I think it's Tommy Sotomayor. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. If I'm not, forgive me. I don't like butchering people's names, but unfortunately, sometimes when you're from Texas, you got a little twang and a little country and everything else. So I'm going to share this one with you. Hey, The Word, how are you, sweetie? Let's see.
I'm doing good. Can you hear me?
Yes. I'm going to share video. Now, this one here was pretty interesting. I'm going to share this one. This is one that Tommy Sotomayor, I hope I'm saying it right, Sotomayor. He was on here talking to a young lady. It was about how it says, why are Black men at the bottom? And I don't want to I didn't make these, I didn't pick these particular, these videos for race relations or anything like that. I really wanted to just talk about how men and women communicate, or how, just people in general, how we communicate. Do we communicate effectively? Do we not communicate effectively? And that's kind of basically what I'm talking about right now. So I'm going to share this video with you.
All right. I'm a quick Tommy. I can see your hand. I got you.
Mine's very short. I promise you.
Hey, THEP, how are you, sweetie? Good to see you.
Tommy, all right, go ahead.
I promise you, it's very short. The men she says she hates and that are failures, I agree with her. And Trigger Mike and I agree together. But guess who raised these failure of a men that she's talking about?
I see it back chat, E.
Single Black mothers. Yes, they're the ones who raised them. It is 100% true. 80% of Black males who are in jail, you know where they came from? Single Black households. That's right. So because these Black males are coming from you, you're a failure. And guess what? White women who lost their husbands in 9/11, they didn't raise a bunch of failure-ass kids because the man wasn't around. White women don't use the excuse of the man wasn't around, hence the kid ain't shit. They realize that they got to buck up and do a better job because they're just there. But Black women wait on their kids to try and take care of them. Just like that little boy who I went on Fox News to talk about, the 9-year-old who's talking about killing men and sucking dick in his rap songs. Guess who's his manager?
Damn.
Mama.
But I thought you all just made the point that you are all only making about 10,000 less than white men.
That's
so
the
who
average
raised
working
those
dude.
black men who are doing that?
They
So
came
what?
from
No,
mostly came from two-parent
have you
households.
noticed? I will give her the stats because she doesn't believe in stats, and
You
I do
just
believe
said
in
it.
stats.
You just
Hold
said
on.
it,
She
right?
doesn't believe in stats. That's why I got the psychology degree, and maybe she doesn't. The stats show that people like me who come from international household, y'all call us tethers, we're grounded. Did you know that Nigerians make more money than whites in the United States? Did you know that, ma'am?
Okay, so
You
did he
did.
skip over the point I just made?
No, man, no, you said
skipped over.
who's raising them.
Okay.
Did you know that Nigerians make more money than whites? Because you brought up how much money whites make.
So
Did
now
you
he's
know this?
differentiating Africans versus Black
I
Americans.
asked you a simple question,
Is that what you're
ma'am,
doing?
and then I will explain it.
Go ahead.
Everything you asked, I'll answer it. But when I ask something, you won't answer it because there's a point
Told
behind
you,
it.
all blacks ain't black. Look
Did
at
you
him.
know that?
Why you split this up?
If you didn't know it, just say that. Why do you keep filibustering?
What is the breakdown in this, Gary? Hey, young Riaz, how are you?
I'm okay.
Hey, Don, what's good? Hey, 27. What the word what do you have to add to this? I'm gonna start with you first. What do you see in this conversation?
Emotions. Tommy asked the question, and it's simple. Did you know? And now you trying to you people get in their emotions. They get defensive. It's hard to
Mhm.
have dialogue with people once they're on a defensive because they're not listening to you no more. So
Right.
when you communicate with people, like when you said earlier, effective communication is a couple things required. Social intelligence, emotional awareness, and also just simply being able uh, to know your audience.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't happen a lot because most people they talk like you said earlier. They talk through their emotions. They tell you. You can always tell because people tell you how they feel. If we having a conversation, technically, no offense to no one, but I really don't care about how you feel because now we're talking about logic. We're talking about something that is tangible to everyone. Your feelings
Right.
aren't tangible to me. I don't
Okay.
feel what you feel, but we all can come to a consensus on the thought. So most people don't know how to have conversations without putting their emotions into it. And like what you were saying earlier, that's why I came up. A reaction is like when you look at cause and effect, right? So a
Mm-hmm.
reaction is predicated upon action. So if I say uh, all black women who single mothers raise black men who uh, become criminals. If you're a black woman and you're a single mother, your child might not be a criminal, right? So
Right.
you go automatically get defensive and try to defend that instead of saying, okay, look, that's a statistic. This is like when you logically think when people bring statistics, first question asked is, well, who participated in it?
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you can look at a statistic, but that don't mean it applies to you. So,
Right. So to get defensive would be really, to me, kind of, I guess, foolish of me, because that's not my story. I may have raised a kid, just say, for instance, when they talk about single black mothers, and how the kids are screwed up sometimes. I may could you have some been a single mother and had children, and now my two kids are graduating from college. I'm just saying, if so people get offended by stuff, but if that's not your story, if that has nothing to do or relate to your own personal I would say personal story or personal life, why would it be offensive?
exactly.
Like black, like when black men say black women are not marriage material. I could get offended. I could get defensive because of that. But if I am a woman that believes I'm marriage material, and I deal with particular type of man that lets me, well, if I deal with a man that is a man that is a husband material, and we get together and we having a relationship and we're heading towards marriage, then that don't have anything to do with me. What this person says, that all black women are not marriage material. That don't have anything to do with me. So therefore I shouldn't get offended. Is that basically kind of what you're saying? Because I'm trying to
Yeah,
relate it.
yeah, and I mean, this is probably the like moving forward when you're having conversations. This is probably one of the most effective tools I use, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is comprehending. You know, like in school, we get reading comprehension. You do that when you're interacting with people. So when you get in conversations like this and people start generalizing, just
Mm-hmm.
understand that's their own personal ideology of life. So now you know what you're dealing with. You know, it's
Okay.
easy if I'm having a conversation and I'm looking for a solution, I'm not gonna generalize. You know, I'm gonna present the problem and we go have a logical conversation. But once I
Mm-hmm.
begin to generalize, now I'm just pushing my beliefs onto other people in a convincing way. So it's easy to say, is like really truly think about this, right? Like even a statement Tommy made, 80% of statistics and all that, who participated in that? You telling me you went around the whole world, met every single black woman, and the statistics show this. That's impossible. That did not occur. It was a
Okay.
small control group. That's what usually surveys and statistics is a control group. So that argument is out the window right there. So let's talk reality. Your reality, from what you observed in life, those are the type of people you're around. Everyone's not like that, you know. So if we will have a logical conversation, now we got to talk about the conditions that these people were in. So we got to look at the cause and effect. Okay, there's other factors involved if you're looking for a solution. But that's what I'm saying. People like that, they get rhetoric, and they try to
Yeah.
spread it and they get paid for it. So I don't even take people like that serious.
You know, I even had to kind of look at myself because I said, dang, I don't think in my past, I don't think I was even active listening or being a good communicator. I really, how sometimes you think you're good at something and you're really not. I'm like, man, I got a lot to learn. You know what I'm saying? Because I would be listening to somebody, but I'm already in my mind thinking about what I need to say instead of hearing what the person said. And I said, dang, I got that bad too. So sometimes things like this will help you to look at a mirror, because when you think you are actually doing the right thing and you think you're doing so well, you're really not. So I said, man, I'm really having to work on that now, making sure that I listen before I leap for any type of response. Because as especially for me, I can sometimes be very emotional. And when you're very emotional, you can mess up some stuff because you're not listening. What do you have to add to this, young Riez?
Mm, I kind of take it, both of you are right, but then also the statistics that Tommy put up, he's speaking from personal experience in a way, because like when his experience and everything like that, he didn't have a good time, like basically the way he was growing up, right, and the type of ladies that he's experienced in life, that kind of made him this way. But I can see where he's coming from in some way, but at the same time, the lady over there that he's speaking to is not willing to understand in some way. Like basically, she's got her emotions up in a way. The same thing what is basically her emotions, instead of just understanding and listening first. So basically, he's reacting first and not listening first. That's the problem.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for adding that. Hey, Captain Wolf. Hey, Scorpion Mama. How you doing? Happy New Year. Okay, there's a question. If a white man walked in a room and said, I don't like the N word, would you take offense?
Me, nah. Why would I? I'm not one. I don't take offense when black people say it. So I mean, the word is the word. I don't like the word. I don't use the word. I grew up with my grandmother telling me stories where people spit on her and called her that. So I'm when I was young
Wow.
and naive, I did. But as I matured and got older, I don't use the word. People around me don't use the word, and I ain't no bully or nothing. But if I ask you not to use it, and you use it multiple times in front of me, I might touch you. You know. So nah, I wouldn't get offended if any. I mean, it's what you answer to at the end of the day. I
This-
you is I'm not saying this is easy. It's a path. It's something I chose to do personally, and it's achievable. And I'm not saying this is because I'm on anybody's show. Selena, you've been around me for a year. People come
Mhm.
around me, they understand. I really
Right.
don't care what people say. I don't really care what people feel or think. That's their thoughts. I've learned to master self, and in doing that, you understand that I can't control nothing outside of me. It's hard enough to control me. So anybody at any point in time can say anything and get an emotional reaction out of me. And guess what that
Right.
does? Distract me from what I'm doing. And if people will be like that. So
Well,
why? So is I had to balance my mind to understand that I can't control people. If that's how they feel and their opinion, then that's what it is to keep it moving. It
yeah.
only affects you if you choose to allow it. That's just how I feel.
Because like when I was telling you about the analogy when I was talking about how if I was a single mother and I heard somebody saying all single mother children, their children come out, either thieves or they come out really dysfunctional, and somebody, I would hear that, and then I have two kids, like I said, as a single mother, and they're both graduating from college. Would I get offended or would I not get offended? Um it could be either or. I don't know. I'm gonna say my initial, and I'm gonna be totally honest. My initial thing to certain things, when I know in the past that I would hear, I would kind of get offended. But then I had to realize too, well, it's not applying to me. But at the same time, at first I would get offended by it because I'm like, what you trying to say? You trying to talk about me? But then when she asking this question, it would make me feel a certain kind of way. If I got offended, would that make me uh N word or not? And I'm like, that do make a lot of sense. I don't
You see what
know.
I'm saying? I mean, it's
Because I
are you
would, huh? Go ahead.
you gotta look at it like this too. And this is just to simplify it. It's truth and uh you have fact and fiction, right? So when
Right.
somebody says something, if it's not a fact, then it's fiction. So what are you getting upset at fiction for unless you doubt yourself? You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
even if you're talking about the statistics, right? Now
Uh-huh.
look at it. I'm gonna give you two ways to look at it. First, look at the statistic itself, 80%, meaning there's 20% that achieve. So you the 20%. So what you
Mhm.
offended for? You see what I'm saying? And then this too. This is the biggest part. This is the part that I learned last, but I always apply first now. Listen to what people say. When people say things to offend you, it's saying more about them than you. It's telling you how they think, how they
Mhm.
associate things, how they put things together. What people say to you is coming out of them. So realize it's more about them than you.
Right.
You see what I'm
That's right.
saying? So once
A
you see that, you
mhm.
understand the type of person you're dealing with.
AAMU said, so it's a catch 22. I think so. Because, like I said, my
Yeah,
first initial response would be like, what the hell what the hell you mean? You know what I'm saying? But then I have to think about it. Well, I don't see myself as this. Like somebody call you a B word. You know what I'm saying? And you know that you're not a B. You know what I'm saying? Somebody call you that. I'm gonna be honest with you. They say it's not what you they say it's
say
not what
is
they
that what
say
you
or what
answer
you
to.
answer to or something they say. But
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like,
not what you say.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't care nothing about that, at the same time, but because like I said, my defenses will go up like, what, but at the same time, if I know I'm not, why get offended? But I'm not going to tell you my first initial response won't be like, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Like she said, it's a catch 22 to me. On a lot of things. Hey, Juicy Fruit, I'm so glad that you joined us today. I have another female up here.
Hey, how you doing, Selena? This is my first
Hey,
time up.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year
Happy
to you
New
too.
Year, just
Hey, Happy New Year, GC. Welcome.
Hey, Henriez. Thank you. Thank
What,
you.
what do you have to add to this?
Well, I wanted to say, I was thinking about your question, and for me, I'll just say me personally. I like you. I try hard not to allow myself to be grouped into like generalizations or statistics or anything like that, right? But the thing I think, like you said, like AM, you said, I think there's always a part of me that it's just like, ooh, because even though whatever they're talking about may not apply to me personally, in my mind, I'm, when you hear people like Tommy Sotomayor and other ones spew out statistics like that, regardless as to whether or not it relates to me or not, at the end of the day, there are other people who, they don't generalize, or they don't individualize Black people. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? If he say some shit about all single mothers or single mothers, this or whatever, that's from everybody else is going to be looking at you as a single mother, and they're going to say, oh, okay, they're not going to take the time to necessarily, individualize you or say, oh, well, in your particular case. No, they're going to look at most Black women and say, oh, well, most Black women who are single mothers, you know what I'm saying? So we may not, want to accept those generalizations or those statistics, but the reality as Black people, what we have to be, just realistic about is that they're going to see us a certain way, no matter how we necessarily individually do things. It's like that the Jay-Z song where he was talking, where OJ Simpson was like, I'm not Black, I'm OJ, nigga, bye. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? No matter what you know what I'm saying, you seal that. So I think that's why, at least I can say for me personally, I try not to get offended by generalizations, but at the same, you talking about another Black woman, you talking about a sister, well, I'm gonna be like, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm just automatically kind of gonna, what? You know what I'm saying? So, I think that's just natural. I think that's
okay, yeah, because I'm like, I have really been working on myself. So, like I said, some days, I can kind of be logical instead of being so emotional. But sometimes, I am human and I do get emotional on certain things because I'm like, what the world, And but I have to learn to not personalize everything. That was one of my things, and that's how you get really defensive when you're having like those tough conversations with people. You personalize everything, and that's I think a lot of people problem. We personalize everything somebody's saying to us, and we can't do that all the time. So, and that's where a lot of breakdown in communication is it's all the way down. From there, you're gonna go back, you're gonna have a back and forth, and then sometimes you ended up having an argument that could have been resolved and done with. But when you have those type of miscommunications with people, sometimes it just keeps going on and on. I'm gonna play a little bit more of the video, and then I'm gonna stop it and we can discuss it.
It was a simple question. Did you know?
If that's what listening and responding to what I want to means, then that's what I'm doing.
Hey, y'all see how this, my point's been proven. I asked this woman as a discussion, did you know something? She didn't say yay or nay. She went on to her own thing.
Tommy, I know you make.
Said, did you know XYZ? I'd say either yes or no.
I'm sorry, Tommy. Say it one more time.
Tommy, I know you're using this as a reference because she is the perfect specimen. To be honest,
I'm sorry.
Come on, man. She is a perfect specimen, but come on, man.
Say it one more time.
Why be difficult on purpose?
I don't understand it either. I don't know.
I heard
let them just finish the
He's
dialogue.
doing a good job of it.
I heard
There's no dialogue there. There's no dialogue here.
Right.
She's
I'll put you in the back. Let me, Andrell, I'll put you in the back so they can hurry up and finish so you can ask your question then. All right, just chill for a second.
I heard something you said, Tommy, and it triggered me. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead and ask the question.
I said, did you know that Nigerians make more money than whites in the United States?
No.
Okay. The reason I'm saying that is because Nigerians believe in a thing of a culture that doesn't include sexy red, and they believe in an idea of being married. They believe in an idea of family, and education is important. That's why Trigger Mike was trying to tell you. He and I, like on my Instagram, some white guy told me, he asked me to come on his show, and I told him it'd be $500. He got mad and said, did Fox pay you in bananas? I ain't paying. And I told people, I said, I put the post up and I said, it doesn't affect me. I said, black folks need to stop letting someone saying things like this, calling it racist. I said, that white man who said this to me is broke. I'm not. He understands that you can get a black person to believe a white man is superior. Whenever we use the phrase of white supremacy, you make a regular white person that work up at Popeyes feel supreme to you because he can use the N-word to you, and you get bothered. Do you think a rich white person get mad that you call him male? Did Taylor Swift get mad when all y'all black women were talking about her, calling her unseasoned chicken?
No one called her that. We didn't care. We didn't give a damn. That's
no,
not
I'm
us.
saying, did she get mad? Yes, they did. They had a whole damn
That's
post
not
about
us,
Taylor
though.
Nicole.
I don't know nothing about that.
Do you understand? I asked the simple question of the people who did it, ma'am, not you. I didn't say you. The people who did it. Did she?
What are y'all thoughts on this? Like, what are y'all thoughts on that? Hey, Real Chase, what's popping? Hey, Captain Wolf, I hope I spoke to you. Go ahead.
I had to drop down, but he made the point I was gonna make. You know, I will give y'all this a tool. You have to accept that people, white people, whatever, if they will feel the way they feel, oh well. That if you allow it to define you, then it's gonna define you. It's gonna affect you.
Right.
People afraid to try to build wealth or build black communities because they said a white man go come do what they did. That's fear, man. I mean, you give them the power, they ain't bothering you. You bothering your damn self.
Right.
With your own thoughts and your own insecurity. So I mean, it's a process. It's not something that happened overnight. It took me probably about 10 years. But you see how calm and cool I am, and that's because I know me. So anybody can say anything. If it's true, then it's true. If it's false,
Right.
then it is what it is, and I move forward. I mean, most people think about this. Man, I ain't rich or nothing like that, but I'm about my business, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the time I take to care about what somebody else is thinking about me is taking my time and focus off what I'm doing. They the one focused on me. They ain't focused on what they need to do. People try to come up on other people. You know what I'm saying? I'm straight. I got enough skills to come up on myself. So that's where my focus is. So they just people paying attention to you, let them. You pay attention to
Right.
what you gotta do. So let me
Right.
drop down. Sis. I appreciate you having me up.
Thank you.
Hey,
The word you always add to my lives. Thank you so much, sweetie. You did a great job.
this my zone right here. Just hit me up. I come to. But I
Thank
appreciate
you.
y'all. Y'all
I
have a good
appreciate
one. I'll be in the chat.
Thank you. Hey, Alphamelia. Good to see you. Good to see you. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody in the chat that came in. Real Chase, Captain Wolf. Who else came in? Bolo. I think I spoke to Bolo. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Young Riaz, what you have to add to this?
I mean, pretty much what is right in a way. You're giving power to someone else. When you get triggered by, whatever that person's saying in a way. I mean, to be honest, I know we're human and that's our reaction. However, you're giving power to it. Because technically, this is what my mom told me. She said, you know, the word annoying technically does not exist. We give the word power. So we created the word annoying, and that's why that word exists. However, annoying technically doesn't exist because we made it though.
Okay. Juicy, do you think that the thank you for adding that, young Riaz, that was awesome. I want to ask you, Juicy, do you think that the lady is listening to Tommy, or is Tommy listening to her responses? What do you think the breakdown in their communication is?
Well, clearly it's a disconnect between both of them.
Okay.
You know, because I've actually studied communication. So when you study like communication and how it's actually done, it's done from the messenger to the receiver. And there's a whole different line of different things that happen and go on when two people are having a dialogue or in communication with each other. And like we
Okay.
were talking about, with the act of listening, that is, you know, such a key part of it, because if you really, as the receiver or the audience, if you're really listening to what the person who is speaking to you is saying, if you're truly listening to them, you don't really even have time to calculate your own response, because you're so in tuned with listening to their message and trying to receive their message. So you know what I mean? So if you're really actively listening, you don't even have a response in the whole, because you're listening. Then you
Okay.
stop and you take it right. So what I've noticed with Tommy, he plays a lot of games with people, and I think a lot of times he causes people to you know, maybe they're trying to communicate as effectively as they can, but I think he, you know, amplifies things, and, you know, then they kind of get discombobulated, then, you know, start yelling or over talking and getting, and then nobody hears anything. Right?
Right.
Nobody hears anything. But I think that most of us, to be honest, and I didn't learn this until I studied communication, most of us don't know how to effectively communicate. Most of us.
Right. Right.
Most of us don't. We really, really don't. Even down to, you know, how to construct the message. Because we can talk about the person, the receiver or the audience, and say, yes, they could do a better job at listening. But even you as the messenger, the person who is speaking, are you constructing your message in a way that's clear and concise? Are you asking a question to where your audience can fully understand what you're asking? Do you need to follow up with some clarifying questions? Because maybe they didn't understand it, and maybe that's why they didn't properly answer it, or you didn't get the response you were looking for. So I think, you know, it's a lot that kind of ties into that. But clearly, you know, you have people on this particular panel in the video that you're showing that you know, they're trying to communicate with each other, but they, you know, the emotions are high, you know, the disagreements are high, and so there's, you know, it's just a disconnect.
Now, I want to ask you, since you did study communication, your major was in communication. Do you is there a way that I can practice being more effective in my communication? When, as me being a content creator, when I'm talking, am I expressing or articulating myself now on certain different subjects that I talk about? Like, do I go back and try to clarify what I'm saying so people can understand? Can you maybe give me some tips?
Well, you know what, to be quite honest with you, that's one of the reasons why I really enjoy your channel, because you do speak very clear and concisely. You know, your tone, even your voice and your tone of your voice and how you speak, your cadence, you know, it's all at a level that's, you know, welcoming, is pleasing to the listener. You know, and so, you know, and you're very clear and concise. You know, you kind of follow up things. You don't, you know, you don't have a problem with clarifying things. I love how you don't interrupt anyone, and you allow people to speak and, you know, kind of get their thought out. And so, you know, I mean, from what I've seen in watching you, I really don't have any tips. I would just say, you know, continue doing what you're doing, because you know, you're definitely doing a great job. You know, yeah, I mean, I love how you kind of, you keep your panel intact, and everybody, you know, I think that's the biggest thing that I've seen with you, is that, you know, everyone has an opportunity to speak and to fully get their thoughts out. And I think that's awesome. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because sometimes I don't want to feel like I'm talking over people's heads. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to seem like I'm like not fully breaking down or asking the right questions, or you know what I'm saying. I just don't want to confuse people. I don't want to confuse my audience. So and I'm one of those people, I have like 100 things in my head, what I want to say and how I'm trying to say it. You know what I'm saying? So I just hope that I communicate well to you guys when I'm talking or asking questions. Thank you so much. And like I said, I am welcome to constructive criticism, because like I said, this year I've been doing it this year, but starting this year, and well, starting next year, I want to make sure that I'm, you know, listening to what people is what they're saying to me. And that's why I really have been working on trying not to be so defensive when it's something that is not something I find likable, or that you know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to sometimes take certain type of constructive criticism, because especially when you think you're doing a good job, then somebody tell you, well, actually, I didn't like it when you you know, you did this and did that. Then you be like, what? You know, so I have to kind of bring that defense down and just learn to listen. But that comes with maturity and actually being self-aware of what your problem is, you know, because a lot of people don't know their issue, or if they do know their issue, they don't care. So,
and I think, you know, and I think it also comes from, you know, people always want to just say, forget the delivery, just get the message. No. Delivery is important. I don't mind constructive criticism. I don't mind correction. I don't mind any of that, because at the end of the day, all of that feedback does nothing but make me better, right?
Exactly.
So I don't mind it, but you have to, again, and this goes back to constructing your message as the messenger, right? If I'm trying to get something across to you, if I say, you know, and I really want you to understand where I'm coming from, because I do care about you, and because I do want to see you succeed and do better, I'm going to be careful about how I construct my message to you, because I want it to be received. I'm not going to say it in a way that's going to offend you, hurt your feelings. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be very careful about that. And sometimes you can't be, right? Sometimes, like you said, some people just might get a little offended. But I think if you come at it in a genuine way, in a loving way, and you know, hey, I think you could do this, but whatever, you know, the way you construct that, the person can receive it better, right? And then they're not offended, right? And then they do improve, and they actually might take heed to your advice and your tips. So, you know, that's one thing I think it's amazing that, you know, you are constantly being self-aware about whether, you know, okay, am I being, you know, am I taking this constructively? Or I think that's great, right? That's how I know you're going to continue to be successful. But I just think too, like, you know, be careful about people who call themselves trying to correct you or give you constructive criticism, and they beating you over the head. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I don't think it should be like that. I think we all, you know, watch your delivery, make sure that it's coming from a good place, and then it's, you know, the person can better receive it.
That's real. Did you have anything to add, Young Riaz?
Pretty much, yeah. To me, you're doing good at I think you're patient, but I think there's more to you than you think, though. I can see you want to improve yourself. Same with me. I'm trying to be as patient as possible, let people speak, but then sometimes, though, the social cues thing. So sometimes, though, when I have something on my mind, I literally want to get it out at all costs, basically. And basically, when I build chemistry with someone, though, we have great chemistry. So the more chemistry I have with somebody, the more I'm willing to share. And also, though, yeah, I admit I overspeak sometimes, but that's not on purpose, because I forget that someone's speaking and I didn't know. So I'm trying to slow down, calm down, everything. But, you know, I'll admit I'm working on it sometimes, not really.
Right. I appreciate you, Young Riz. And thank you, AAMU. I appreciate you. I really do. Thank you for subscribing to me. I appreciate it. Hey, Will T, Happy New Year's to you, sweetie. I hope everybody's year coming up is a lot better than it was last year. That's for sure. I'm gonna play a little bit more of this and then I'm gonna stop it. Let's see.
He get offended.
I don't
No,
know.
because she understood those people are below her.
How
You
do
can
know
call
if you got
white people
offended or not? How do you know?
because she didn't express it like how you're doing, ma'am.
Okay. Now,
I wouldn't know you were offended if you just sat there and did this.
I don't want to. Why would I do that? And I'm here.
God, I didn't say that. Jesus, you are the most difficult motherfucker to talk to on earth. You just want to be difficult. I know nobody's doing anything
Lord
to you,
have mercy.
and you don't even see it. The black women who were sitting there were on your side in your comment section. You could look at it. Don't understand why you're doing this. You're being difficult for no reason.
Can I ask you a question?
Can have it, ma'am.
Please
Enjoy
don't.
it.
Don't ask anything else, sis. Don't.
Can I
No,
ask you a
please
question?
don't. Please
No,
don't.
no. Can I ask you a question?
No,
Did you
because you're
just
gonna be
separate?
difficult. So
Hold on.
if I answered your question how you're doing, we'd never get anywhere.
I answered your question.
You're a dick for no reason.
Did you?
He is so theatrical. It's hilarious to me. I'm sorry. Forgive me for laughing, y'all.
What the world? Okay.
And then and notice, it's the more confusion she causes.
I told you,
every
DJ,
time
help.
she's
It's not
quiet.
going anywhere,
Notice
dude.
the more confusion
Yeah,
she
move it
causes,
on.
the more frustration she causes. A lot of black women are like her. Them motherfuckers will have an orgasm at confusion.
What?
They were
move
fucking
it.
just
Wow.
damn near nuts off
Move
of
it on,
confusion.
It
You
ain't
ain't
going
never
nowhere, man.
seen her one time here, ladies and gentlemen. Try
get on
and
my
stop
nerves,
the
man.
confusion. She's not one time said, "Let's all settle down, guys, and let's see." Not once.
All right, let me see. Go ahead, Mandrell. Did you want to answer that question? Why we are?
I forgot. What
why
question?
we are?
No, he good. He good. He good.
So
wait. What was the question?
So for me, sis, in terms of that, I'm not.
Honestly, what was the question?
I'm gonna answer it quickly. I gotta get Blue Jay in. Blue Jay was popping.
Yeah, she been here a while.
But for me,
you,
you got so many successful men, sis. Mandrell, E, Tommy, myself. I'm not leaning on shit that happened from the past. I understand it. I research it. I study. I know, but I'm not gonna repeat that shit. And I'm gonna be as great as I can be, and I'm putting enough pain in to do so. I'm not making no excuses. So anecdotally, white men aren't doing better than me. However, you have to lift as you climb. So I give back. I coach, as you know, high school football, et cetera, to be an inspiration so that those boys don't perpetuate the bullshit as much as I can. Now it just take the men in on this panel, the men in the back, the men in the chat to do the same, and then we can galvanize the whole community.
Hey man, my daughter, see, you want to, I love how my daughter, when I go to my daughter's school, all them white kids know her dad, and she's so impressed by it. Because when you say black men are below white men, there's a house in my neighborhood. You can look it up. It's online. My house is big, is damn near twice as big as anybody else's house. Right now, I could turn around and show y'all how I'm having the shit rebuilt. Shit inside.
Can I say something to that?
What I say is
believe
this.
you. We believe you. No more bragging. We believe you.
Can I say something to that?
What my point is this. You say a lot of men are in a situation, and I can agree with you that a lot of men are in a situation. But we have to talk about it as a collective. So if men accept, like when I live in Atlanta, I'm not gay, but I know a lot of women say it's a lot of niggas in Atlanta gay. You know, I've never gotten offended. I've never gotten offended because I understand why they think this if they don't know. But I also understand that I'm not that, which is why white girls don't get mad when y'all say they don't have no butts, because there's a lot of white girls who do, and they don't really give a shit that you think they don't.
We don't say that. We don't care enough. Shut up.
Can I say something to that?
Okay, so there's a disconnect, and also there's some. I see some disrespect. Is it on one side or on both sides? Juicy.
I definitely some. Well, I mean, I would say both sides because her last little comment wasn't necessary, but he, of course, is the king of disrespect. So I think he started it, and her by that, now she's just kind of not listening. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she's just like, no, I'm gonna not listen to you and be disrespectful. Do you think that even though and like I said, we haven't seen the whole footage, right? Because there's a long live. This is just a little portion of it. So we haven't seen the beginning, right? So we can't really give a good assessment because we haven't seen the very beginning. But at the same time, do you think with him, saying that she was one of the most difficult MFers, and till now, do you think that with this interaction, do you think that they can come to a common ground, or do you think that that's over?
Well, that depends on the two individual people. But I will say this. See, this is where men could learn from Tommy Sotomayor in his bad behavior. Because if he was a different person and if he operated in a different way, yeah, he could have. Like you know what I'm saying? It didn't, and he didn't just say she was a difficult motherfucker. He said black women are difficult motherfuckers. Again with the generalizing, right? Just because I think she was just trying to ask him a question because she just kept saying, "Can I ask you a question?" So, like he didn't. If he was a good communicator, he would have stopped and said, "Okay, what's your question?" He would have really been trying to get down to the bottom of things and really get her to understand where he was coming from and maybe even, try to understand where she was coming from. But he doesn't want to do that because he just to be right. You know what I'm saying? And so then he started to overtalk. He started to offend, call names and all of that. So he's not really trying to, actively communicate and effectively communicate. He wants to start a debate. He wants to start an argument. I think that's how he gets off.
I think, and like I was telling somebody, I was telling you guys earlier, men and women both do it. So, and it's a universal thing sometimes, it's not just black women, it's not just black men. People in general do the same thing. In this day and time.
What I meant was in the sense of, I say that men could learn because men, and you can probably attest to this, like, right? And this is what I try to get men to understand. You want to get more bees with honey all day long. So when you talking to a woman, you get all loud and doing all that, you gonna get all of that right back. But if you as the man, right, who if you take your rightful place as a man, you can calm that whole situation down. You can calm that woman down, right? And so he is, but I think what happens is like men like Tommy Sotomayor who don't know how to effectively communicate, especially with women, I will say, then you know what I'm saying? He's not going to know that. He's going to have that problem, and that's why you have all these women who get escalated with him, and they get disrespectful. So then he get to turn around and say, "See, she just a disrespectful bitch. That's why I call them bitches because she act like a bitch." You know what I'm saying? It then justifies his reasoning for continuing to treat her bad. You know?
Okay, that's a good perspective. Young Riaz, do you have anything to add to that?
Sure, yeah, I agree with that. Basically, what energy you give to the female, she's going to return the same back. So basically, for example, when me and you speak, the only reason I speak in a calm, respectful manner is because I know this is your platform, but in the same way, depending on how I speak to you, you can return the same energy, the same favor back. So it's basically how we speak to each other, that kind of matters anyway. Because in my culture anyway, pretty much this is the problem. Sometimes it interpersonal culture, sometimes though, we having a conversation and when there's a debate going, the problem is sometimes though, both man and woman is basically debating and shouting over each other, talking over each other in a way. So basically, not all the time, and it doesn't happen to me all the time, but I admit it does. to be honest, this is what happens though, in Indian Pakistani culture. Basically, when it comes to a debate, instead of sitting there listening and everything like that, sometimes though we tend to shout and we tend to basically overtalk each other. Sometimes though, because
Right.
we're so triggered and we got so much to say.
Right. Hey, Meek, how are you? Happy New Year's. Yes. And hey, Peep Gang, good to see you. Yeah, you're right about that. Both of y'all had some really great things to say. We got a few more minutes.
Real quick.
Let me reset this and read the super chat, man. He said Black Flag. That's your shit, right, JP?
Yeah, Black House.
Or Black
shit
House.
like that.
Shit
Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit like
Angry
that.
Man said, got a dip. Thanks for having me. Salute to Angry Man. I appreciate you, good brother. Mrs. Wilcox says Tommy was popping. Boom Zaza with the $5 says, or Canadian says, the women on the panel that agree with the men are afraid to say it because of the sisterhood. Hink with the $5 says, JP, do you still find Christine attractive? Wow. As A with the $10 says, Tay is wanted, right? Why the men who tryingly know her don't want her? You black men are no judge. White men don't whine like black men. These men are all in the community, but are not all in the community by far.
Well, that person there doesn't know any white men. As friends, colleagues, nothing. They don't know. They don't talk to white men.
Nav with the $5 said. Nav with the $5 says it's not tearing you down, it's correction after decades of being out of order. Jay Hub with $5 says the white man don't want you, Shaka Khan. T.O. with the $2 says sis proving J Prince point. UT was popping, my boy, with the $5 says Dana, it's because you are doing crazy shit and you get blamed for what you do. That was at 12:50. Almond Eyes with the $2 says sis, just take the correction.
Please do.
T.O. with the $2 says, so should we compare black women to white women? T.O. with the $2 says, Trigger Mike, Najee, no, they carry. I don't know what he's saying. T.O., that's the first time you ever, I don't know what you were saying. Q.
You gotta say it in the accent.
Nah. Q on the keys with the $5 says, sis gets triggered too easy. She makes it personal when she doesn't like a statement. Quick to tell a man to shut up or insult. Shake it.
Okay, so sis is the one that was going back and forth with Tommy. And the person says, sis gets triggered too easy. She makes it personal when she doesn't like a statement. Quick to tell a man to shut up or insult. Shaking my head. I gotta be, and then and every now and then I will be transparent with you guys, and I will tell you certain things. Like I told you, I did have to learn, and I'm still learning about communicating effectively. The other thing that I had an issue with, and I think I said this earlier, sometimes I personalize things, and that triggered me, and I responded impulsively. And it was to my detriment because I really messed up a lot of relationships because of my mouth. And I think as a woman, because I'm a woman, I'm a Black woman. You have to, and I would just say, as a person, you really have to sometimes, as the good book would say, bridle your tongue. A lot of things you don't have to say just because you feel it. Okay. And then if you do have something to say, make sure that you are taking the other party in consideration, because it's not about you all the time. When you are in relationships with people, whether platonic or whether romantically, you have to know how to talk to people. People do not respond to disrespect. They just don't. Now, in this situation, from the part that I have seen, there has been disrespect on both sides. So sometimes you can change that because I've had a situation to where I've had disagreement with a person, and we were going back and forth, and then we finally, one of us had to kind of calm down and be like, okay, look, this is what I was trying to say. This is how I felt at the time. This is what I felt like. This is what I saw happen in the situation, right? This is what I experienced. Once the person tells you that, then I had to calm down and I had to put myself in that person's shoes. Basically, it's more about how can we make this work instead of how can I prove myself right all the time? How can I fix this, or how can I see where this person is coming from instead of I just want to be right because I feel like I'm right all the time. Like people, and I said this earlier, people want to be right than be happy. They rather be right than be happy. And then that's where you'll never win. You'll never win. Even when you think you're right, you'll never win because you're not considering another person. You're not in a relationship by yourself. And even if it's not a relationship, it could be a coworker, it could be, your supervisor. You have to really pay attention to how you respond. And then are you listening to respond? Are you actually listening to resolve? That's what you have to figure out what you're going to do in relationships. Are you listening to resolve? Are you listening just to respond? So I think that both share some responsibility in the breakdown of communication, right? But I always heard somebody got to be the bigger person. And sometimes people ain't trying to be the bigger person. They just trying to tell you how they feel, and it is what it is. What do you think about that? All of what I was saying, Juicy.
I think you hit the nail right on the head. I think you hit the nail right on the head. I like how you made them both accountable for their bad behavior. And I agree with you. I was also taught the same thing. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And I was also taught that, your opinion, while it's your opinion and you're allowed to have it,
right,
not always warranted, baby. If it wasn't asked for, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So keep it to yourself. So
Right.
I mean, I agree with you on that. And I think that, and like you said about being the bigger person, I'm somebody who I've always subscribed to that. I know some people like if they go low, I go lower. I don't believe in that.
Right.
I think you need to stay higher. You always want to stay above as high as you possibly can. So if it was me and I was in that situation, especially too, because as Black women, we're already kind of seen as being loud and obnoxious and
Right.
combative and da. So just me personally as a Black woman, I really do try hard to act the opposite, even if I feel like I want it, because I can get rowdy, I can get raunchy, I can get like anybody else.
Right.
But because of how I know they already view us, I'm careful about how I operate out in the streets, or what I'm saying, or when I'm in public or when I'm interacting with people. So if it was me and I had the unfortunate experience of speaking to Tommy Sotomayor, I would have acted completely different from her.
Me too.
Just because of who he is and just how that operates. And I would have, because he wasn't going to be the bigger person. So I would have tried to, bring the situation down.
Right.
Okay. So in a way, basically, you're not wasting your energy on that. So basically, it's like that. That's kind of me in a way. Sometimes though, I don't waste my energy. So if someone kind of does me like that, yes, I can get to that level. However, to me, I choose to be the bigger person because I'm not wasting my energy. I'm not wasting my time. Nothing. Because the only reason is, for what reason? It's because it's, if I'm nice in a way when I do it, I'm basically beating them by being nice, because in a way, when you walk away or when you're being mature and everything, you're kind of beating them because your energy is not wasted. You're not going down to their level, and you're not going out of your character or anything like that. So by the time when you hit that and when you walk away, you've already won, and you already won in a way, because
Right.
you're because of your maturity and because of your maturity. That's why.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, both of you had something really valuable to say on that, and what I kept hearing is basically be different than what they expect you to be. You know what I'm saying? Be different than what they expect you to be. And like Jussie was saying, how she would have been the total opposite of what he probably would have expected, and I would have really tried to do the same thing, unless you know somebody was just being just pretty disrespectful, just like all the way. And it's just like there's no reasoning. We can't come back from that. You know, it is what it is. You gonna get this smoke, get this fire. You know, but for the most part, I want to be different than what a person may expect me to react. And sometimes I do. I surprise people sometimes, because some people may think, oh, she gonna do this, she gonna do this. And I'm like, okay, you play checkers, I play chess. Because I learned that you give people power over you, whether you realize it or not. How you respond to things it depends on, to me, how you respond is basically how people will treat you, how people will view you. You know what I'm saying? Because somebody could be, say for instance, somebody could be talking down to me and saying all kinds of things to me. How I respond to that person. Do I go off all the way, you know, and cuss them out from head to toe? Or do I walk away? There's a difference. Or what would be your response, you know? And that's sometimes I have to kind of think about in my head, if somebody did this to me, what I would have did last year, would I do it this year? You know, or would I try something different to see if another approach works better than the other? You know, so it's always things that I be thinking in my head. How would I react? And sometimes we don't even know how we react until we in that situation. You know, go ahead.
Sorry, you have a point. So one time for me, when I think it was like in 2020, so I was around 18 or something like that. At that time, I think I had this one classmate, same on the spectrum like me. She was a white girl. Basically, though, you know, when someone speaks to you in a way, for me, I didn't do anything. I just stood there silently and everything and let her say what she said. And I'm just letting her embarrass herself. But also, you know, it's like my friend. So in a way, when I did that, basically, basically the teacher just handled it for me. I didn't have to say anything, do anything like that. So when I do that, it basically, you know, it basically let them embarrass themselves. So when you're quiet for a period of time and when you let them talk for so long, they instantly expose themselves and they got themselves in trouble. So just let them get in trouble themselves. You don't have to do anything. I know sometimes
Right.
though you want to react and you want to hit that reaction mode, you want to do it, but no. Like I understood why I didn't do it, because I understand, since we can relate to each other in a way, since we're both on the spectrum. If I said something to her, it will easily hurt her because we're both hypersensitive. So basically, what he could say to me and what I could say to her. So that's why, you know, I didn't say anything, because I know she's hypersensitive like me. So by the time, you know, I do anything, it'll hurt her. So I'd rather not.
Right.
Young
You
Ree
have
here
anything you
dropping
want to
gems
say?
today.
Huh,
Oh,
Juicy?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just saying that Young Rhea has been dropping gems this whole
You
conversation.
really have.
I'm
You
like that.
really have.
That the one thing that you said earlier, Young Rhea, is about how annoying really isn't it shouldn't even really be a word, because you know that's only how we allow the person to make us feel like that.
Exactly.
That's huge. That's yeah. So you've been dropping gems. I'm just listening.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
thank you.
basically it's like not letting people have power over you, over your
Yeah.
response.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then even what he just said about, you have to be really self-aware to consider other people. Like before he even responded to her, he thought about her hypersensitivity. And because of that, he decided not to say anything at all. I think that's big of you. I think that's huge.
I think
Thank
that
you, because I can understand her, because I'm on the spectrum myself and she's on the spectrum. So basically my class that time, all of them were like, they were all like me. So I can understand them and how they, think. No, not like they think, everyone's different, but I can understand, different behaviors they display, because I have those behaviors too. I can understand and relate to her. So that's why I took in consideration to her feelings and everything. So that's why I didn't say anything or anything like that. I just let the teacher handle her. I just let her speak, and basically when the teacher heard that, they had a word with her and everything, and that's how it's handled.
That's awesome.
I'm
So,
really
like she said, you really have a lot of self-awareness with that situation, as well as consideration and kindness. So that's really something to be applauded for, young Riaz. And we all need to take that kind of outlook on certain things, especially when it is dealing with uh people, in our, especially those that not just important to us, but people that we don't know. You know what I'm saying? Some things could be diffused if we understood how to communicate. But who teaches people how to communicate these days? It's just something that I think you have to want to learn. It doesn't happen automatically. Now some people have a good way of expressing themselves. They're very articulate. They know how to break things down. They know how not to get too. They're emotionally intelligent, so they don't get too emotional. But and not everybody knows how to do that. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody comes from that type of environment. But the thing, and I didn't really come from that type of environment. I think for me, I just decided that I wanted to learn how to have better relationships with people. And that's why I made the attempt to get constructive criticism from people, or to ask people, well, how do I do this and not offend? How do I correct my tone and things like that? So I would ask questions. So that was the thing that saved me, um, dealing with people and communicating. And like I said, I'm still working on a lot of different things as well still. But I think that you have to have the desire, to me. Oh, thank you, Russell Red. Oh, hey, real cornbread. Oh, John, you still here? You have to actually want to do those things, because some people just don't care. I agree with some of y'all points, but I feel it's a maturity thing with some men and women. Some of us got childlike minds. Plus, it's not a color thing. It's a human. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I kept saying it's a universal thing. Um, Other races go through the same issue. Exactly. Communication is a universal thing that everyone needs to learn how to do. If you're going to have any type of relationships with people, you're going to have to know how to communicate with people. Otherwise, you're going to keep going to a relationship, from relationship to another relationship, still looking for something when you could have had it with someone, but because you both were immature, or one of you was too immature, you couldn't work it out. You know?
I would also admit as well, the way what I'm saying and everything, I admit as well, sometimes though it might not go that way. And I admit I might not be like that all the time, but also it comes to as well the knowing yourself basically. So when you actually self-reflect and self-awareness, everything like that. So when, before you're speaking, whatever you're doing, whatever you're thinking as well, basically it's also got you thinking as well, am I doing something right or not? So basically that's just how it is though. knowing yourself and how to basically recognize and how to deal with stuff. I know it will never work like that all the time, and I admit that. However, I always try to be as patient as possible so I don't have to resort to that.
Right. Do you have anything you want to add to that, Juicy?
No, I just said good point. You made another very good point about
Yeah.
Young.
You guys are awesome. I really enjoyed you. Juicy, you added wonderfully to the panel. Thank you so much for your perspective. I really appreciate it. Young Riz, always a blessing, kindness. And I just want to say thank you guys for coming through. I'm just going to say goodbye to you guys. I take this off of here. Yeah, I'm really I hope that this year will bring you much happiness. This year. I don't know what you guys got planned tonight, but I hope you guys be safe and have a good time. Or if you're just at home with a loved one or your family, make sure you tell people you love them. You know what I'm saying? People don't live forever. Make sure that you kind of look at your life this year. What were some of the things you need to work on? What were some of the things that you actually accomplished? What's some things you want to change? You know what I'm saying? So I want you guys to really look at those things, or just drink. Drink and be safe inside your house. Don't go out here in these streets getting into anything. You be safe. Protect other people. If you drunk, I'm telling you, stay at home. Don't go out in these streets. Don't endanger yourself or anybody else. But guys, I really hope you have a great new year. I really do. My prayers for everybody. If you going to church, I'm not doing that. I already been. I ain't going back. If you've been to church or you going to church tonight, make sure that you be safe out there. But make sure the people that you got around you, that you love and that you hold so dearly, tell people you love them while they're alive. Because when they're dead, they can't hear you, right? I had a situation, I'm having a situation now with a loved one, and I'm making sure that I'm making my presence known. I'm making sure that that person knows that they are very important to me. So please, hey, Carl, Happy New Year. Good to see you. Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you for the super chats. If I got any cash apps, thank you so much for coming through and blessing me with your presence. And Hey Thug, what's good? Yeah, y'all have a good, like I said, have a good night, a good year. And like I told you, appreciate the people that are around you that you love. Because like I told you, I keep saying when people are gone, they're gone. They're not coming back, right? So show people you love them. Yeah. So I just wanted to say hello, give y'all a smile, and let you know that thank you so much, Carl. I appreciate you. Yeah, thank you so much. Rosa Red, what you doing tonight? Hopefully you behaving yourself. Have to check on you. But guys, if nobody else love you, remember Selena loves you to Reese's Pieces. And know that I'm praying for you guys, general prayer that y'all be blessed this year, that you accomplish what you want to accomplish, that you show people that you love them, that you grow as a person, as a better person, and not as the same you were last year, that you just keep progressing in your life. And that when you're progressing in life, you keep blessing other people, because remember, you reap what you sow. So, guys, love y'all. Love you, love you, love you. And I just want to say kiss to you guys. Love you to Reese's Pieces. Happy New Year. So the next time I see you, God willing, it will be in 2024. So I'm excited. I'm excited for all you guys. You cooling? I know that's right. I'm staying out the way. I'm staying out the way. So love y'all. Talk to you later. Bye.